Welcome to Live from the Gardens, a Animorph podcast about animals and how to be a convincing Animorph. This week we'll be talking about the Northern Harrier and the Mosquito, two of the animals we found last week in Animorphs number 18. The Decision? It was the Decision, yeah.
Yep. Although there wasn't really any decisions being made.
I mean, it was like Axe didn't abandon his friends.
Yeah, but they never gave him the decision to do that. They were always following him around anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're badly named books, let's get real. Anyways, we talked about that book last week on the Dork-Bajir Chronicles. My name is Mikhail, the host.
I'm Tessa, the expert.
And I'm Braden, the illness that was in Tessa's intestines.
Hell yeah, okay guys, I gotta explain myself. What happened was I took a little mini vacation down to the United States. Because I've never tried Cinnabon. I've only ever had Cinzio, and I kind of wanted to see what Axe was talking about.
Yeah.
I blacked out about 3 buns in, and I woke up in a hospital. But the hospital was like an Andalite hospital in Z-Space. And they said I had a bunch of gas in my intestines and had to let it out. So they punctured my intestines with a huge needle. And I farted out of my skin and like popped back to Earth. It was weird. I don't recommend
Farted out
it.
of your skin. That's the best 8-word combination.
Ow! So Andalites are real, huh?
Yeah. It was really
Oh my
weird.
God.
Fucking wild.
Do you want to know the worst thing in the world? When I was a kid, we used to drive a lot, and my dad and my older sister, convinced me once that when I was taking a nap while we were driving, they picked up the Ninja Turtles.
Oh no!
And the Ninja Turtles were like, "Oh man, we really want Mikhail to join, but I mean he's sleeping. I don't know." And then I was so incredibly upset. Oh, I still remember that to this day.
That's a thing that will scar
4.
a kid. That's a thing that will scar.
They wanted a 4-year-old!
Yeah, I was very cool.
4-year-old!
I was very cool. Yes. Well, welcome back, Tessa.
Thank you. It's glad to be back. I missed out on making all kinds of decisions to interrupt Braden. You know what? This episode's probably going to be our best one because I wasn't there making stupid comments. And I'm
not
going to
gonna lie.
sad.
It was pretty streamlined, and we actually went on some good tangents.
Yeah.
And let each other speak. Yeah.
Shit.
We had some good talks about martial arts.
I did also have a pretty constant nagging fear that we were getting something wrong, and I wish Tessa had been there to correct us.
Aw. You don't have to lie to make me feel better. That's fine.
Also, I cried because I missed you.
Aw. I cried.
No,
when I
that was a
missed
lie
you.
to make you feel better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Okay, let's get into it. Northern
go.
Harrier. Braden, or who's going first? Tessa?
Braden's going first.
Braden's going first this week.
Yeah.
Okay. First question. The adult male Northern Harrier is sometimes nicknamed the blank because of its striking plumage and spectral aura. Also, if anyone out there has not actually seen a Northern Harrier like me, I recommend Googling it. It's a very cool looking bird. The red-tailed hawk is pretty much what you think a hawk looks like.
Yeah.
A Northern Harrier is this weird owl hawk. I recommend it. It's cool. Anyways, what's that nickname?
Gosh. Oh, gosh. Okay. It's nicknamed because of striking plumage, spectral aura. It's called the My Fiance bird.
Oh, that's so lame.
But probably actually something like ghost hawk or ghost bird.
That's super close. It's the gray ghost. Ooh. Yeah.
I prefer my name.
Oh,
yeah, they have little cute faces.
Oh shit. Oh, that's cool. They look kind of they kind of got a barn owl effect going on from the straight
Okay, I just Googled these guys.
No, they're very cool.
They've got a really sharp profile from the side, but they kind of look like
their face And they're like, their facial disc is so small compared to their body. Like, they just look like a little goof.
Cursed.
Okay, Tessa.
Yeah,
on the rare
little bit.
occasion that small rabbits and ducks are taken as prey by harriers, because usually they're going after smaller things like mice and stuff. How are these animals subdued by the harrier? I mean, name a way that they are subdued that is interesting and not just bleeding to death.
I mean, like, that's the weird thing about Northern Harriers, or the gray ghosts, if you have respect for them, that's what you call them, is because they're called the ghost because they are haunted, but they're not haunted by any kind of animal or, like, Confederate soldiers or anything. They're haunted by all of those dead trees that died in the Carnivorous age before bacteria existed to break down
real?
trees. You know what I mean?
Not the ghost part, the trees part.
Yeah, there was a time when like a bunch of trees just were dead, but they covered the ground and there was no bacteria that existed
that's
to break
amazing.
them down. So we just had trees everywhere. Wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called the like Carnivorous era, in the time before dinosaurs. Hey, if the kids ever get spaced to that time period, maybe that will be a cool thing.
Anyways.
So they're haunted by plants, and what they do is they send out ghostly tendrils of plants towards vegetarians like rabbits and ducks. Because we know that ducks like to eat peas in dog bowls, based on that one little video that I saw of a pet duck doing just that. It was adorable.
The real answer.
And so
Harriers
these
eat like this.
No, I'm not quite
Ducks
done.
eat like this.
I'm doing a Braden one. But the small animals, because they're small, it wouldn't work on a deer, because what happens is the ghost spectral enters these small prey through their nose and kind of lifts them up, cartoon style, as if they're smelling a pie. So the harriers just kind of like perch in a tree and levitate rabbits towards them. It's really interesting
I
to
think
watch.
the carnivorous era was a lot more interesting. Let's talk about that for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. Fuck animals.
All right.
The real reason is, or the real thing that they do to subdue these animals, is they actually drown them. So they'll carry them over to some water and like drag them through the water, essentially, to kind of like shock them.
A little bit of
stuff.
breath play. Hot.
Yeah, man. Actually, this is kind of cool, and it's related to this question, but you guys should watch, not right now, but watch videos of harriers hunting.
Too late.
Because when okay, of course it is. Fucking Google fingers.
I'm kidding.
End of episode.
I picture hawks
Two
like what
questions
Tobias
in,
says,
we're
which
done.
is like flying over treetops, maybe up pretty high, using his insane vision to like spot a mouse hiding in a hole. That's not how harriers hunt. Mm-hmm. They kind of hover. They're like the helicopters of fucking hunting. They're like 5 feet off the ground, just above grass level. And they're like
oh, wow.
constantly moving back and forth and like looking left and right to see like where their prey is, and then they'll swoop down and swoop back up, and their wings are almost constantly like folded because they're never soaring. They're always kind of like moving in and out, and they'll eat on the ground, and their nests are near the ground. It's cool though. I would watch a video of it because it's kind of like very different for what I thought hawks did. Anyways.
Yeah,
Brayden,
that
next
does
question.
sound different. That's
what
cool.
sense do harriers use when hunting that sets them apart from most raptors?
Harriers use their sense of comedic timing.
Hey, give me
that one's true.
I need an example of a harrier using that to hunt.
All right. Tessa, you know what I'm talking about, right? You knew the answer to this one? All right, help me out here.
100%.
Tessa, you're the prey.
Okay.
You are a rabbit. You're grazing on a carrot, and I'm a Northern Harrier. I'm gliding low.
What happens is I pull out my cell phone. What? Wait, the twins are okay? And then I have a short conversation with my wife who's in the hospital and hang up, and I'm like, wow, that's great. And then my boss calls. What? My promotion? Oh my God, thank you. And then I reach for my phone to call my wife again, saying to myself, this is the best day ever.
Snatch! Snap your spine, rip out your throat. Your guts are everywhere. You're not even dead yet. And I realized, this was very rude. I picked you up and I dip you in a lake and just start blah, 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 blah.
The best.
And I just hold you there. And just hold you there until the bubbles stop.
The real sense that they use is actually their hearing, which is extremely rare for a raptor to use. And one of the reasons why...
Right, because they don't have
so well,
ears.
Well, no, they have ears.
They're hidden by feathers.
Yeah, they have ear holes.
No, where are the lobes?
They don't need lobes. Not every animal has lobes.
I don't know.
I'm just imagining a cat with earlobes.
No, you either have earlobes or you don't have ears. Like,
I mean,
my
that's
God.
fair. That's
He's
pretty
a lobist.
straightforward logic.
What?
He's a lobist.
I prefer to call myself a truther.
Oh man, hey,
unless
Brayden,
there's uncomfortable implications to that word that I don't know.
Brayden, does this mean that you just really want to elope with your fiance?
There it is. There's the pun. There's that juicy comedy meat. Just
That's
pull that right off the bones.
Me being gone.
Okay.
Oh,
eat it up,
boy,
Sean.
that was a great follow-up to me describing gutting and drowning my co-host.
What I was going to say is
Hell yeah.
Their faces have kind of like a roundness to them, which you'll see if you look up the images.
Oh, yeah, like a barn owl.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It's called a facial disc, and it helps to absorb sound, so that makes sense.
Yes, and in fact, owls use the exact same like evolutionary
owls use the exact same
technique.
thing, and I love owls, so I know everything.
Perfect. Which is why you would know, Tessa, why are harriers considered by farmers to be, quote unquote, one of the good hawks?
Well, twofold, Mikhail. Mm-hmm. So they use the ghosts inside them from the carnivorous. It sounds like carnivorous, but it's not. It's about coniferous, like trees. Anyway, they use the vegetable trees, ghosts inside of them to help the plants grow, kind of like druids do. But they also can hear the weeds as they're growing, because the weeds just like to shit talk plants, and they're like, hey, I'm gonna get you a piece. I'm gonna crawl all over you and make you taste like shit. So they hear this, and they swoop down and they pluck out the weeds. And farmers think, yeah, that's one of the good hawks. It helps me out.
I'm glad you didn't go somewhere like racist with it, where it's like, one of my best friends is a hawk. Like something like that.
What? Why would I go somewhere racist with it?
Privilege. You heard of it? Anyways, they aren't a threat to poultry. That's why. They actually, for the majority of their diet, it's mammals. So you've got your groundhogs, that kind of thing, like mice,
rats,
a lot of mice.
Stuff that farmers don't like.
Yeah, they'll even eat like big bugs, but they will very rarely eat birds. Brayden.
Keeping the peace.
What are the main competitors to Northern Harriers? And so what I mean is like, what's eating their food, essentially?
Mostly the Lakers. They just they've got better 3-pointers. I mean, and their
From
defense.
Downtown.
Like, their defense is just off the fucking charts. I mean, obviously the Northern Harriers, they push through every once in a while and they get in the basket. But just the Lakers don't have to make it past their defensive line. They can just get...
I know.
They get all these 3-pointers from fucking half court, and the Harriers just aren't ready. They didn't practice for it. They got all these guys on the 3-point line because they're expecting to have to stop them at the 3-point line, and they just can't get it out of their heads. They can't just move their defense forward. So, that's... I mean, other teams, it's not as much of a problem, but some reason, just the Lakers fucking... just get them psyched out.
Well, I heard that they did run into a bit of trouble in the preseason with against the Raptors, just because Raptors is partnered with Google, and there's that one ad where the one Raptor guy is baking a cake, and I know some of the Harriers were just like, oh my gosh, you actually got a Google ad, that's great, and we're kind of hesitant to really go where they needed to go. Yeah. But I feel like if they overcame that Raptor hurdle, they can overcome the Lakers. I'm still gunning for them.
And I also know something about basketball that translates into a funny joke about this situation.
Go on.
March Madness, am I right? I was trying to think of more basketball terms that it's 3-pointers. You said that 15 times, so that's gone. 3-point line, is that even a real thing? It probably is.
That's where you throw a 3-pointer, dude, at the 3-point line, because it's worth 3 points.
Oh,
I know basketball.
Now I get it. March Madness. The real competitors for Northern Harriers are owls. Not surprisingly.
That makes sense. They both got facial discs.
And I got to read my favorite word yet again, which was kleptoparasitism, which is where somebody hunts something, then you steal it from them before they can eat it. And that will happen.
Who else was a kleptoparasite that we talked about?
Lots of birds are kleptoparasites. I think it's seagulls. Yeah.
Fucking seagulls.
I know,
Makes
right?
sense.
They'll actually fight each other for prey at times. Like when one catches something, the other one will come and like attack that bird to take it away from them. I did read in a few different places that typically the harrier is the aggressor in these situations, which is like, oh god, those poor owls.
Yeesh.
The harrier's just trying to drown him. Drink water, bitch. Just going after a great gray and shoving its huge face in a lake.
As far as Northern Harrier mating goes, it's not that interesting. We kind of did the whole thing with the eagles and the hawks. Everything is like, the raptors all kind of look the same. One cool thing I did read about the mating ritual, though, is that the male will perform quote-unquote elaborate barrel roll routines to court females often up to 25 barrel rolls in a row.
Damn, I mean, that would work on me.
I'm getting wet just thinking about it.
If a guy just hovered and flipped 25 times in the air and just rolled down the block through the air, I'd be like, what's his number? Wait, is he single?
Wait, am I dreaming? Because as a human being, and it defies all laws of
Call
physics.
back to last week. My dick is diamonds for that sword fight.
Oh, yeah. Also, other inside jokes that Tessa won't get. No, I'm just kidding. The actual act of sex for harriers is just like the seagulls, kind of, where it's like the seagulls. You know what I'm realizing as I watch more and more bird sex videos? Just endless. Like I've got it beaming straight into my like Oculus Rift.
You're like right there.
Yeah, I can't not be right there. I'm gonna probably write a fanfic at the end of this that's just the animals that they morphed. Oh my god, there was a comic book series and it was like an investigator. It was Marvel and it was like he was a journalist. The protagonist was a journalist, but he was like chronicling like the beginning of superheroes.
Marvel.
So yeah, and it was very like gritty, like a real novel, but also it was comic book format. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna write that for the birds the animals that they acquired. What happened to the hammerhead shark? What happened to, like, the real story? Anyways.
And now you know the rest of the story.
So when I watch the seagull video of them mating, it's actually like, they're very, like,
no, wait, it's Marvels, not just Marvel.
Oh, I just meant it's Marvel Universe. That's
but
I couldn't remember the name of
the
it.
Comic is called Marvels.
Ah. Thank you, yes.
Braden's got to be out there for our many Animorphs and comic book fans.
Hey man, they exist. They're out there.
Hey dude.
There's tens of us.
Playing the hot new video game Monster Hunter? No. The hot new Call of Duty? No. The hot new Darkest Dungeon? Well, tell me what game you're playing.
That came out 3 years ago. That came out 3 years ago.
Yeah, but didn't they just release some new content? They just released it again on like Xbox One with some content, didn't they? Like
I couldn't beat it. It was really fucking hard.
Darkest Dungeons is not meant to be beaten.
I played video games, something Legend of Zelda.
So the thing about the seagulls was that when the male stood on top of the female, it was actually like really confident and graceful for the most part. When the hawks and like all the other raptors, when they stand on top of each other, it's like the worst thing. Like they're totally off balance and they're like, I'm gonna nail this one, and then they just go boop and they touch for like 1 second and then the male flies away. It's really dumb and it looks like it doesn't know what it's doing, and the female's like doesn't even flinch or do anything.
All right. Oh, Mikhail, I think I hear something way in the background. You should go leave and check it out. Brayden, I think we need to like have an intervention for Mikhail. He's starting to like personify the animal sex videos he watches.
Yeah, also all the crack.
Oh, hey, Mikhail.
Oh,
nice.
Mikhail,
I guess it wasn't
Hi.
anything, hey?
Yeah. Hey, I just had to not watch more videos. I was doing something that a normal human being would do, like move on to the mosquito.
Woo.
My
This one's
Our
for you,
favorite
Tessa.
little friend.
This one's for you. Not,
All right.
Not all mosquitoes drink blood. Or as they like to say, not all mosquitoes need a blood meal, which is like the two
That's
worst
the
words.
worst.
Yeah.
That's the worst words.
Why? Why do not all mosquitoes drink blood?
Well, Mikhail, if you asked any of your mosquito friends, then you would know that some mosquitoes are vegan and they just drink plant blood, which is a fancy way of saying that they burrow into the leaf and eat all of the inside of the leaf and then fly away. Because that's the only way that they can forget about how good a hamburger is.
Yeah, they're vegan by choice, but it's killing them. Yeah.
It's killing them inside. They're just like, oh, God fucking damn it.
So the truth is, you're not actually that far off. Because I think you might have actually known the real answer.
No,
and
yeah,
you're
I
just
know.
playing
Female
dumb.
mosquitoes are the ones that drink blood, and the male mosquitoes are the ones that drink plant
So
juice.
that's only half true. So females are the only ones that drink blood, but they'll only eat when they're mating,
About to
which
lay eggs,
admittedly
right? Oh,
is
when they're
like a
mating?
lot of their life. But they will eat nectar as well. So they only need the blood for, well, that's not the only thing, but protein is a big part of what they need, and they can't
for
get
the
that from nectar.
Eggies.
Exactly, to make eggs with. So they'll get
And
a
I mean,
blood
like, they
meal.
can't really just eat beans, because beans are underground. So it makes sense that they would, like, quit veganism for a little bit.
Beans are underground.
It's, yeah.
I liked
it's
beans
rough.
before it were cool. Anyways, okay, Brayden,
Stupid.
Yes, my friend.
what is the first thing that happens to the blood that a mosquito sucks after that blood enters the mosquito's abdomen?
So, blood, abdomen.
Webster's dictionary defines
Blood. It's in us to give to mosquitoes.
Now,
I mean, yeah, essentially.
the blood goes into their abdomen. And the blood goes into their abdomen, and it immediately begins to party. Like, all the blood cells are like, we're free, we're going home, yay, woohoo, alright! But then
That's
they
a horrifying
immediately
thing to think
realize,
about.
wait a minute, this isn't, oh no, this isn't it! What the hell is going on? Mama said I'd be free! Mama said I'd be free! We're drying up and dying! Oh god, there's no afterlife, isn't there? Everything's meaningless! And they go into the void and are dead and gone.
And they leave behind their proteins.
It's like that movie,
Z-Space.
Food Fight? By Seth Rogen?
Oh god, that movie was so weird and like gross in a way that I can't describe properly with
You
the words.
actually watched it?
was
Well, it
on
makes
Netflix.
sense. Mikhail watches
I
a
really
bunch
enjoyed
of
it.
animal sex videos. Of course, he would watch food
I think
sex videos.
I think the jokes on their own were good, but it was like getting to the point where I was like, they're just showing sex, like penetration, without actually showing humans doing it. And it wasn't that I felt offended. It's just that I have a whole other podcast where I talk about. No, I'm just kidding. It was weird.
Yeah, you were just so turned on, but like hungry.
Kind of. I think
get
that
it.
was the point, though. Anyways, what happens to the blood when it enters the mosquito's abdomen is that it is concentrated by the body. So if you look closely at a mosquito, even as it's sucking the blood, you'll see little droplets of clear water come out of its butt.
Good God!
It's getting the water out of it so that all the proteins and red blood cells, they can get more of it in their stomach, essentially.
Sickening.
Oh my god, that's horrifying.
It is horrifying. There's some pretty fucked up, horrifying stuff coming as well. So, Tessa, this one's for you. How do mosquitoes get blood from our blood vessels?
The word blood vessels makes me think of like spaceships and like blood trucks and
Classic blood truck reference.
classic blood truck reference.
Blood truck.
Mosquitoes get blood. They just use like a knife.
Yeah.
Finest band of early 90s new metal ever.
Oh, I thought you were replacing the word thunderstruck from the classic AC/DC song, Thunderstruck, with blood truck. Anyways.
You've
Sorry.
been blood truck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, mosquitoes, they just like use a knife. We like to talk about how they use their pincer needle and like slide between the skin cells and suck it up. Nah, man. That's just what they do when other people are watching. If you're by yourself and a mosquito comes after you, it takes out a knife. And it's a pretty big knife. I don't know
Yes.
where it was hiding it. But it like kind of stabs you a little bit and drinks it up. And then bottles some of the blood to carry away for later.
Okay, so it's got like a little flask of blood.
They're like the little bottles that you get in Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Mm-hmm. It just has 3 of those on it that it fills. And they have to, those ones get filled with the blood that has the water in it, though. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they haven't concentrated that blood yet.
Okay.
Do you think there's
So if you want to try and get your health back, you can fight a mosquito, and typically that's one of like the drop prizes that you can get is a cup of copper and then a bottle of blood.
So the red potions are just blood?
Yeah, they're just blood.
Yeah, that's fucked up to think about.
Blood!
Do you think that there's like some mosquitoes out there that are like fucking immortal because they drank from Jesus?
They extruded the water, but it was wine that came out.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yes.
Okay, no. The real way that mosquitoes get blood from our blood vessels. So, okay, I'm just going to say what my preconception was going into this. I thought the skinny thing on the front of a mosquito's mouth was like a big, sharp hypodermic needle. And you stick it in.
Okay, same. Now I'm really nervous.
Yeah, no. It's so much more fucked up than that. The thing on the front of their mouth. I'm
not gonna want to hear this.
It's actually a sheath that covers the real mechanism. Yeah. And the mechanism is actually 6 separate needles. And they're like, some of them are like flexible, it looks like. Okay, let me go through this. The 2 outside needles are actually saws. And if you get a close-up look at like a mosquito plunging its thing into your skin, it actually goes up and down like it's a saw, and then it hits that point where it gets through, and it goes vroom, and it just sinks right in. It's the most fucked up thing. Okay, the next 2... So it opens kind of like a fan, right? Or at least that's how the diagrams where they explain it. The next 2 have like muscles to hold your skin apart so that the opening stays open. And then there's 2 separate ones and then the closest to the middle. One of them, it has nerve endings or something that actually can find blood vessels. So if you look at a video, and they have videos of like sub-epidermal kind of cross sections, and it's kind of like moving around under your skin looking for the closest blood vessel.
Oh no!
And once it gets to it, it just starts like absorbing red blood cells. It's like a straw, essentially, right?
Wow.
The
Evolution is evil.
I know.
Evolution is the villain of real life.
The last one is the thing that secretes what I consider like a blood thinner, although that's not the word they use, but it's essentially something to make it so that the blood
doesn't clot.
Exactly, and it flows faster and more easily through the straw. It's also the reason why you have an itchy bump there afterwards, because that is what that's what causes that, essentially. I did find out that there are actually
to take a shower for the rest of my life and then vomit and die.
There's actually some mosquitoes that don't use the suction method in as much as they use a pressure method. So I don't totally understand the difference, but it's almost like they seek out areas where the blood is under more pressure, and they'll just use that innate pressure zone. Exactly, and it'll just filter in, and those are actually the lowest risk of infection, because there's really nothing coming out of the mosquito into your body. Yeah. They're just kind of...
Because that's how you get diseases, is the insect backwash.
Yeah, and I'm not going to talk
drinking from
too much about, or at all really, about the diseases, because, I mean, everyone knows, yes, you can get things like West Nile, dengue fever, yellow fever. It's horrible, but malaria, how it actually happens is not really that interesting. It's just...
Zika? Is that still a thing? Was that still
that's still a thing.
Yeah.
But
it was hot for 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a real thing. It's just much more controlled, and it's really only a danger if you're pregnant. So it's not nearly as dangerous as, say, yellow fever is, or malaria, or something like that. Anyways, if you have time after this, Google, like, how does a mosquito suck your blood? And there is some high-def footage out there of this kind of crazy procedure that they do.
That's so gross.
Yeah. Oh, God. Anyways, let's move on. Next question. This will be for Brayden.
Yeah.
Where do baby mosquitoes live?
Oh, man, I actually know this one.
You can tell me the real answer.
Yeah, they live...
Not everything's a fucking joke.
That's not...
Oh my God.
That's not true, though. Like, everything is a joke. Like,
We're all
Mikhail,
free Marcos here.
This is a pretty popular podcast about a serial book series from the 90s. And people just want to hear some three Randys' opinions about that. Life is a joke, man.
Thank you, Randy 3. That's a good point. That's right, you're Randy 3.
Does that mean I'm Randy 2?
All right. Anyway,
I'm Randy 1.
The eggs hatch in water, and they become little predatory, like water mites. And they
Not any kind of water, though, Brayden. What kind of water?
Like still water, stagnant water.
There you go, standing water.
That's true. That's bang on. That might be a real secret point you get. So
what?
No! Phantom points.
Oh, my dick just became
God.
diamonds.
I'm just kidding. I'm not tracking the points. Or am I? No, I'm not.
I am. And I'm always giving myself a point.
I read your blog, I know. So the way it works is mosquitoes are, eggs are extruded from the adult mosquitoes and on into these kind of like, they call them egg rafts, which is a disgusting fucking term if you ask me.
Because all the eggs stick together, right?
Yeah, all the eggs are stuck together. They do hatch and they turn into waterborne larvae, which is just, the nymph or whatever form of mosquitoes. Then they turn into pupae, which is the cocuna/metapod form, also known as cocoons or whatever.
Wait, so first you went like Greek mythology and then you went to Pokemon?
Pokemon is Greek mythology, or at least at a higher tier of hierarchy in terms of lore.
True. Pikachu is Zeus.
Pikachu is Zeus?
That's why he's everywhere.
Is Zeus. I think a good like math rock band is Pikachu is Zeus. I would listen to that. Anyways, the adult mosquito kind of like emerges out of the pupae into the air. It's pretty disturbing. The more interesting thing out of this is just like any bug, there's a bazillion different species of mosquitoes, and they found mosquito eggs anywhere from like a leaf that was kind of creates a little bit of water, all the way to like lakes, and even like puddles that lasted like 3 days.
Yeah, puddles are like a big one. I remember tires.
Tire marks?
Water in tires. Yeah. No, just like in the tire, if you have a tire leaning up, the water in the tire.
Oh, like a spare tire kind of thing? Yeah, I totally believe that.
Yeah, I've seen mosquito rafts in some weird places.
I have never seen a mosquito raft, thank God.
It's pretty gross. I have seen it in real life at a lake a long time ago, and it was horrifying. One kind of cool sidebar that's not really part of this, but so betta fish, or what a lot of people call samurai fighting fish, those kind of fancy fish you can keep in a little bowl, they eat almost exclusively mosquito eggs.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, not that that's really useful in any like way, shape, or form, but if you find mosquito eggs and you're willing to risk infecting your betta fish's tank with whatever crazy bacteria might be on it, that's a nice treat for them. I'm not recommending you do that, but I'm just saying.
Don't recommend.
I don't recommend betta fish at all. They live terrible, sad lives if you don't just treat them like normal fish.
Yeah, they need a huge tank, not a tiny one that you can buy at the pet store.
I have a betta fish in a tiny tank.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. Oh. I do actually, but I know it's bad for it. Anyways, how do mosquitoes pick their human targets? This is a question for Tessa.
So they just listen to whoever's having already a kind of shitty day, and they're like, and they go.
And they go what?
They just go. They go and they saw them open and
they
eat
just
them.
Do it. Okay. Not totally wrong, I guess, kind of. So to understand the real answer to this question, you need to know, and you might know this already, that mosquitoes track their targets largely through CO2 emissions. So when you breathe out, that is actually like an alarm bell for a mosquito to come get you, which is why it seems, even though it seems impossible, when you walk into like a forest, you're just like inundated with mosquitoes. Like, it's not like they were all just hanging out there. They found you when you walked in, right? So, not surprisingly, mosquitoes often target heavy breathers. That's a huge one. Also, if you're generating a lot of body heat, or if you're pregnant, and they'll target you then. If you have a lot of skin bacteria, here's a weird one that I don't understand. If you have type O blood, you're more likely to get bitten by a mosquito.
Like, by how much?
I don't know. I couldn't find like exact, because it's all kind of like, I tried to find this kind of stuff, but the stuff that was actually scientific was too complicated for me to understand. And the stuff that's not scientific is like BuzzFeed's like mosquitoes hate people with type O blood. 10 reasons why mosquitoes are fucking up your day.
Or they apparently they love redheads. I've heard that too.
Yes. That's reason number 12.
They're drawn to lighter colors or something.
I don't think that's true. I couldn't find anything like that. Although I did find a lot of urban myths about mosquitoes. One urban myth that I thought was an urban myth but was actually true is that certain people can have quote-unquote sweeter blood in that they genetically inherit something that causes them to be a higher risk for mosquito bites. That apparently is super true.
Oh, damn.
So genetically, you can be predisposed to being more bitten by a mosquito.
Huh.
Wow.
I like, if there's anybody who's going to get bitten by a mosquito first, it's always me at like campfires and stuff like that.
Nice.
I just like to think that I have attractive blood.
No, it's because you fucking breathe out your mouth all the time.
Yeah, I'm going to point that out to everyone. Jesus Christ.
It's okay, I do too. We gotta find solidarity.
It's because my
mouth breathers unite.
It's because my mouth was blown off when I was serving in the military, Tessa, you rude fucking... No, I'm just kidding.
Now, wait a minute. You can't have a mouth blown off, because a mouth is literally...
No, he meant to say his nose.
Oh my god, I fucked up the whole bit.
He used to eat through his nose, so he gets the two holes confused a whole lot. He missed that meeting where you know how the Ninja Turtles go to every kid and
Can you not?
What's your mouth and what's your nose?
Can you not fucking prod
He missed
me?
that meeting.
Oh, Jesus.
He mixes up his body parts a lot because, like, he understands himself as a soul, not a body, because of his many journeys into a sensory deprivation chamber in...
Oh my god. It had to come back to that in the end, didn't it? Fucking A.
Braden, his sensory deprivation chamber is like what Z-Space is like.
I can see everyone's dicks.
Yes, you can! Yes, you can! I mean, yes, you can.
Mosquito mating, not super interesting. They're just bugs. It's doggy style. Whatever, who cares? I don't care.
Yeah. Dirty. You think they engage in blood play?
Is that a real thing? I don't understand that reference.
That's a real thing. You can get a fancy knife to cut your partner.
So the hardest of moving
pretend
on.
You're a vampire.
Hypothetical question of the week time.
Hypothetical question of the week.
Hypothetical question of the week.
Question of the week.
Question of the week.
This one I think is fairly well tuned to your guys' abilities. If both animals, the mosquito and the Northern Harrier, were co-stars in a 90s sitcom, what would that sitcom be about? What would the sit in the com be? Okay, so here's the details. They can speak English totally fine. They can communicate with the North American audience. They have a high level of intelligence, so we're looking at, like, it's not going to be, like, the most basest of, like, Urkel-esque sitcoms. Mm-hmm. And they understand human humor, so they're not. It's not like everything is a reference to a blood meal.
That's a wide swath to understand.
All right, I've already got one.
I mean,
of course,
understanding human humor is more than most humans understand.
Not all jokes will be about, like, hunting or blood meals.
They they are going to make jokes for humans about their hawk and mosquito-dom, not necessarily...
Yes, exactly. But, so what I need first is, what is the sit part?
I got it. Here's my pitch. Hello. Thank you for... Hello, executives of CBC Broadcasting. Here's my pitch for our early 2000s style CBC sitcom, of which there are many. It's a Northern Harrier and a mosquito, and they're roommates, best friends, and they also work in, like, the Northern helicopter ambulance.
Okay.
So the Northern Harrier is the pilot, and the mosquito is the clerk, and they're trying to, like, they've both suddenly one day gained sentience, the ability to speak English and French. But the mosquito is better at French than the harrier. They
Why
can
do they
both
speak
understand
French?
because it's CBC. Mikhail, keep up.
Oh, why would it be on CBC? It's on like ABC.
TV shows. People love TV shows that speak multiple languages.
I'm thinking this is just like
Why would it be
niche
Canadian, Tessa?
sitcom
Why would it be
that
Canadian?
never got to the States.
Oh.
Because
you seem to
Canada
know a
is
lot
cool
about
country.
Because
Canada.
Tessa
It's
is
full of
pitching this,
animals.
Mikhail. Don't fucking question her.
Braided.
I don't know a whole lot
Oh.
about Canada. I hear they eat geese up there.
They don't have
That's
geese.
all
I
know.
seen it.
I'm
I
like-
fucking seen it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
done it.
One day, these two animals just have sentience. They don't know what, they don't know why. They both heard a sentence saying, "The wizard blesses you, now live your best life." They meet each other, and they're like, okay, let's try and make this work. So they join, and they learn how to be like, this is like, you learn all this information through flashbacks during the first season. But really what it is, it's the hijinks of a Northern Harrier and a Mosquito who are helicopter paramedics in like Northern Canada, where they don't interact with a lot of humans, but they do interact with some still. And they're like trying to pretend to be human, and so far no one has noticed.
Interesting.
But they're also not sure how long this is gonna last. So they go to like all of those like northern communities that don't get a lot of like, there's no roads to them, or like logging people who are way out in the middle of nowhere. Or there was one episode where they rescue some hikers off a mountain, and it's like really emotionally fraught because the Harrier's sister died because she flew into a mountain. And he's like, oh fuck.
Holy fuck, where's the comedy gonna come
It's just
into
how,
this?
like, see,
Jesus.
here's the comedy. Here's the comedy. The stars are you and Brayden.
Oh, Dave. I call the Harrier.
Oh, obvious.
Yeah,
You
no.
know what?
Obviously.
I've actually played a mosquito before. Yes.
Really?
In a high school play.
Oh my god.
It was me and a couple of other tiny animals. I think maybe a mouse, a crab, something else, and a mosquito. And we took on a giant that was stealing everybody's crops by just like bothering him until he ran out of his house and fell off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
And I was this like,
You
that was
drove
actually a
giant
really
to commit
great.
suicide.
I wore like, cause like we didn't actually, obviously we didn't have like a mosquito costume or a mouse costume or any of this shit. So we just like dressed like people, but like how we thought people, if a mouse could dress like a person, how they thought they would dress. If a mosquito dressed like a person, how we thought they would dress. And I did like this vampire getup, and it was like,
yeah.
everybody was like really impressed.
Everybody thought I was really cool and like
Of course they
very
were, because you're
talented.
amazing.
It was high school, and I was like top of the pecking order.
It's because you bit a kid in middle school and everyone was still scared of you.
Yeah. Have I?
No.
Anyway,
I need to rein it in. Okay. I've got the spec script locked. I want to hear Braden's idea. The only reason he could have been so quiet is because he's working on it.
I'm stewing. All right, so I don't want to just like make Frasier, but put a mosquito and a harrier in it. So funny. I want to flip.
That is funny.
I want to flip
Mikhail!
the sitcom world on its head with just this single
don't
minute
do it.
gag on a mildly popular podcast. Now, we are going to explore a genre that sitcoms have not explored yet. Cyberpunk. These aren't just a harrier and a mosquito. They are awakened cyborg, a harrier and a mosquito. They
love it. I love it. Into it.
They live in a post-human society. Humans? Dead. Gone. Eradicated. Pollution? Evolution? Who knows?
Who knows?
see-
Pollution, evolution, ... Who knows? That's the tagline.
That's in the script. That's in like in a world without humans.
Holy shit, we have to wrap this up. Okay. Next week, we'll be talking about Megamorphs number 2, In the Time of Dinosaurs. It's our second Megamorphs book, and the next week after that on Live for the Gardens, we might actually even have a special guest to do our dinosaur stuff. So, until next week, what can we do there, Tessa?
Oh, I guess I gotta tell you some stuff about how you can follow us on social media.
Well, you don't have to, because you want to. We got a bunch
of memes that we push out. You want to, because we do a lot of quality memes, actually, and because Animorphs is from the 90s, literally no one else is making memes about it. So we've got kind of that meme market on lock.
Oh, yeah.
We're at Dork-Bajir on Twitter, dorkbajirchronicles.tumblr.com, at Dork-Bajir Chronicles on Instagram, and we've got the facebook.com/Dork-Bajir. Is it just /Dork-Bajir
just
or is
search
it /Dork-Bajir Chronicles?
Honestly, it'll show up.
/Dork-Bajir Daddy.
Yeah, that one was a weird one. Dork-Bajir was already taken by this weird BDSM group, so I had to pick Dork-Bajir Daddy as our username.
Also check out collectivelegacy.org for some other fun podcasting content.
Like, subscribe.
Braden is so dead inside. He's actually furiously scribbling out dialogue for his new cyberpunk show.
He's like busy. He's like just daydreaming about it.
Guys,
he's like,
this is how
I'm gonna fall
I actually
asleep.
really enjoyed that pitch.
Pollution.
In a world, was it pollution or evolution?
But Braden, I can assume that we would get full descriptions of like alien and technological martial arts in your show.
Oh, definitely.
Oh,
buddy.
hell yeah.
Tessa.
Nice. I get that reference.
Me and Mikhail went fucking hard on how much we love martial arts in film and fiction.
Wow, I'm glad I missed that.
Yeah, I'm glad you missed it too.
Anyway.
Okay. For the Animorphs, my name is Mikhail, the host.
I'm Tessa, the expert.
And I'm Braden.
The screenplay writer.
I've escaped. I have escaped. I'm gonna go do something else. This podcast doesn't have me anymore. Now, the Thirsty Boys do. No,
and this
that's
has
not
been Animorphs, the Dork-Bajir Chronicles. If you'd like to correct or clarify any of the poorly researched animal facts in this episode of Live from the Gardens, feel free to contact us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook by searching for Animorphs, the Dork-Bajir Chronicles. And remember, stay safe, stay hidden.
Hello everyone, my name is Jared, and this is Two Nerds in a Basement. Once a week, me and another nerd watch one of the over 70 movies put out by Marvel or DC Comics over the last 50 years, and talk about them for far too long.
Can we just take a moment to address the fact that Howard the Duck looks like Martin Sheen?
You just want a Jimmy Olsen torture scene, right?
Something. Don't just shoot him in the head. Like, string him up by his toenails and just go to town on him.
He's just got this scratchy voice. It's so annoying.
What's our solution to nuclear warfare, 10-year-olds?
It's like, I want to be a witch. I want to you explore the black magics, and you get the aesthetic of your dreams, right?
I went straight to the boob grabbing. Hang on. Let me get there.
Brought to you by
Collective Legacy,
a podcast network.